history of why we're here. This site is part of the old Westinghouse. Rich Robbins, Wareham Development, my apology. This is part of the old Westinghouse site that has been here forever. In 1980, late 1970s, the Westinghouse group was working with the Environmental Protection Agency. And in between, Westinghouse was cleaning up a site, and some actions took place that shouldn't have taken place, and the EPA intervened and had them create what we currently call the mound. And the reason it's a mound is because a lot of product got put there, and then they asphalted and built bentonite walls that are 40 feet deep that surround the entire project. It's, at the time, it was PCBs, but there have been 3 characterizations since then, and there's other things that are in there. This project has evolved over many, many years, but the city has always expressed a deep interest to clean up the site. In addition to that, in 1993, when we built the Amtrak station, we had to do a lot of work, particularly around the platform, and there was a lot of cleanup done, and the railroad station has had unprecedented success, particularly the Capitol Corridor. Currently, there are about 1,200,000 people that go in and out of that railroad station now. There are a great many buses that stay in front of the existing station, outside. Some idle, some don't. Used to have AC Transit, but AC Transit hasn't been involved for some time there. It's primarily Amtrak and Capitol Corridor. And their primary route is to take people who get off the train or come to the train and take them either to San Francisco or back to Emeryville. The Capitol Corridor sees this route expanding every year. And I guess if there's a problem, it's been because of the success of the station. There had been many, many moons ago a plan to get buses underneath a parking structure and some retail and transit center. Because of how much activity is going on there, it has been revitalized, and members of the Capitol Corridor Commission, as well as Amtrak and state agencies, again approached the city in the 1990s to see what could be done, not only to add parking, but also to add areas where the buses could come underneath and be contiguous to the platform. When we built the platform and the railroad station back in '93, we had to deal with the fact that there was a bentonite wall and we couldn't clean the site. As I said, it was an EPA decree, which means as far as the rest of the world's concerned, it can't be touched. It's finished and finalized as a containment project. Well, with the help of the city and in particular Ignacio, over the last couple of years, we've put together all the agencies, and there seems to be a consensus now on cleaning up this site. That has revitalized this project and revitalized the cleanup and revitalized the idea that we'd be adding some public parking. And then what do we do also to take care of the Capitol Corridor, which is to level the platforms, bring them together so people can get off the trains. And I say that because 80% of all the trains are to the north of the station, because we could have never, we had a mail spur plan, but the Powell Street Bridge blocks it. And because it blocks it at that time, most of the trains go out to 64th and 65th Street as far. So you see people coming down that platform. The goal would be with the Capitol Corridor and Amtrak that these people can get off the platform being level with what we create in the bus area, and it'd be a transit authority building where they could go to the various buses. There's also a proposal to try to expand these buses so they're not limited to only train passengers, but they can be expanded to allow passengers in Emeryville or people doing other things and getting off the Emery, go around and wanting to get to San Francisco, utilizing these buses as well. There's a big movement afoot to make it green. But quite frankly, in front of the existing station, it can't be done. We can get 2 buses there, 3, but really to do more than that, it just can't be established. In addition, the goal was to add the parking, as I said. Currently, there are about 125 spaces basically dedicated to the Amtrak Capitol Corridor and 90 spaces that are private. At any given moment, any month, it could be changing. A lot of times we have trouble because during the ski season, you have people leaving their cars there for a week, maybe longer. During the summertime activity where they have specials, the same thing occurs. So the goal was to work with the Amtrak, Capitol Corridor, the state agencies, Department of Toxics, the Environmental Protection Agency, 2 agencies that also happen to be our tenants, and we've done cleanups with them. And so, again, as a public-private partnership, the idea hatched, how do we do this? The cost of the cleanup is anywhere between about $11 or $12 million. Westinghouse has had a position that they've already paid for a cleanup and paid for several cleanups. They have a decree. So the way we've enticed them, and it's still being finalized now with the city and Wareham, is that they would make a loan that they would be paid back for 1/3. We would pay for more than 1/3. And the city, through grants, state grants, local grants, federal grants, would help contribute toward the cleanup. And then we also had the parking to contend with. But that was the goal. It was a lot easier than any protracted litigation that would go on forever with with very little chance of success. So in order to pay for all this, we also had to come up with a plan. We're dedicated to compelling architecture, and we wanted to see that realized here. There's some challenges. Height, obviously, mass. It's a big topic right now that you're going to have to focus in, and all of us do, on the general plan, and what's appropriate, how to make it happen, and work in balance with quality of life issues. So with that said, that gives you a brief history from 1980 to where we are today, and I'd like Lise Berrier of the Smith Group to walk you through the architecture. We'll take questions. Certainly there's going to be elaboration and a lot of questions, I'm certain, but that's what this informational gathering is about. Thank you.